In the opening, Clint Barton is showing his little girl toxophilism on his detached ranch, while his better half readies an excursion lunch for them. Out of nowhere, Clint's little girl disappears, and the remainder of Clint's family deteriorates, alongside half of all life across the universe. Consequence of Thanos' snapping his fingers subsequent to getting each of the 6 boundlessness stones. Cloud and Tony Unmistakable are abandoned in space following their loss by Thanos on Titan, however, are gotten back to Earth via Diddy Danvers and rejoined with Natasha Romanoff, Bruce Pennant, Steve Rogers, Rocket, Thor, and James Rhodes. The group figures out how to take the vastness stones back from Thanos and use them to switch his activities, yet learn after finding him that he had utilized the stones a second opportunity to obliterate them, stalling their further use. He lets the excess Vindicators know that he did as such to try not to involve the stones for additional detestable purposes. Maddened, Thor executes Thanos, saying it's what he ought to have done in Wakanda. After 5 years, Scott Lang escapes from the quantum domain to find that his girl Cassie is currently a teen, and that Trust Van Dyne, alongside half of the populace, has vanished in the snap. Rogers has been driving despondency directing meetings for survivors actually battling with the impacts of the snap, while Romanoff is indefatigably overseeing both Earth and the remainder of the universe, the assistance of Rhodes, Danvers, Rocket, Okoye, and Cloud. Lang goes to Romanoff and Rogers and makes sense of that while 5 years had passed for them. Just 5 hours had passed for him in the quantum domain, and that time extends much distinctively. There, the 3 go to Distinct, who is presently bringing up a youngster with Pepper Potts, make sense of their hypothesis that the quantum domain can be utilized to travel once more into the past and take the vastness stones before Thanos can gather them. Obvious at first oddballs their proposition with worry about taking a chance, with his family and the harmony he has found, yet in the wake of reflecting upon the deficiency of Peter Parker, chooses to test hypothetical models that would work with Lang's quantum burrow, in the end tracking down one that works. With Obvious now ready, the excess Justice Fighters set off to reassemble their group. Bruce Pennant has now embraced the mass as a piece of him, and has merged his own cognizance and the masses together into one. Romanoff, in the wake of hearing reports from Rhodes of a professional killer that works with comparable strategies to Barton, passes on to track down him. Barton, consumed with sadness after the deficiency of his family, has been working under the mantle Ronin, while fiercely slaughtering criminal cartels and posses all over the planet who attempt to work on the world that is still left. Natasha tracks down him in Japan. After some persuading, he consents to rejoin the group to attempt to bring his family back. Flag and Rocket go to the modest community of New Asgard, where Valkyrie and the last overcomers of Asgard have settled. They there find Thor, who has become overpowered by responsibility over neglecting to kill Thanos in Wakanda. Thor has become overweight. His hair and facial hair are congested, and he invests his free energy, eating unhealthy food, becoming inebriated, and playing Fortnite with his companions Korg and Meek. Thor hesitantly consents to get back to the Justice Fighters after some persuading from Rocket and Standard. In the wake of testing the quantum time machine on Barton, who affirms that it works, Justice Fighters are brought together with an arrangement. Flag, Rogers, Lang, and Obvious set out to recover the time, psyche, and space stones during the Clash of New York in 2012. Flag goes to the Sanctum Sanctorum, where he is educated by the old one that requiring some investment stone from her timetable would forestall Stephen Unusual's future endeavors to prevent Caecilius from obliterating the laws of nature. In any case, and Standard tells her that Weird surrendered the time stone energetically to Thanos, she permits Pennant to make them suggest Unusual had expected for a particular succession of occasions to happen for Thanos to be crushed. Pennant likewise guarantees the stone's revisitation of their legitimate timetables to forestall any evil impacts. Lang and Unmistakable endeavor to take the Space Stone after the Justice Fighters seize it from Loki. Lang gives Unmistakable's previous self gentle heart failure by pulling a circuit in his counterfeit heart, while Obvious takes the folder case lodging the Tesseract when no one is looking. Their arrangement is obstructed, and Unmistakable drops the attaché after he is unintentionally hit by the mass. Loki then, at that point, takes the Space Stone and uses it to get away from guardianship. Rogers prevails with regards to taking the Brain Stone from secret Hydra specialists, however finds his previous self, botches him for a hidden Loki. Subsequent to overcoming past Steve, Rogers gets back together with Unmistakable and Lang, who currently should sort out one more method for getting the Space Stone without running out of the restricted stock of PIM particles that permit them to go through the quantum domain. Lang gets back back to the present with the Psyche Stone, while Rogers and Obvious devise an arrangement to take the Space Stone from a U.S. Armed Force establishment during the 1970s, while additionally taking further vials of PIM particles to make the excursion back home. While there, Rogers cites Peggy Carter and Distinct has a significant discussion with his dad, Howard. Rocket and Thor travel to Asgard to recover the Truth Stone before Malekith utilizes it against the 9 domains. While in Asgard, Thor is reminded that his mom, Frigga, would pass on soon and gets an opportunity experience with her, while Rocket takes the ether, disintegrated form of the Truth Stone from Jane and Courage. The 2 revisitation of Earth after Frigga directs Thor. He recovers his sledge Mjolnir, thrilled to find that he is as yet deserving of it. Cloud and Rhodes travel to Morag to take the Power Stone before Peter Plume does. As Rhodes gets back to the present with the Power Stone, Cloud breakdowns and stays on Morag. With 2 consciousnesses working on Cloud's frameworks, Thanos and Blackthroat find the presence of future Cloud and go to grab her. Cloud acknowledges what has occurred, attempts to caution the others, however, is past the point of no return. Thanos examines her recollections and finds the Justice Fighters' arrangement and sends the more faithful past Cloud back to the present as a covert operative. Barton and Romanoff travel to Vormir to recover the Spirit Stone, however, are clashed, and Red Skull, manager of the stone, illuminates them that it must be recovered by forfeiting somebody they love. The 2 battle about which will make the penance, with Romanoff at last accepting all negative consequences, while a distressed Barton gets back to Earth with the Spirit Stone. After everybody has gotten back to the present on the planet, Stink, Rocket, and Standard set off on a mission to create a glove to employ the stones, one built from the equivalent nanotech of Obvious' most recent Iron Man suit. Flag volunteers himself to employ the glove and bring back everybody that vanished in Thanos' snap, thinking that he can endure both the gamma radiation and the monstrous aggravation and injury welcomed on by utilizing the stones. He succeeds. However, they are very quickly gone after Thanos, who has been brought to Earth by the Fraud Cloud, obliterating the quantum entry all the while. Thanos lessens the Justice Fighters' central command to rubble, separating the group and making the glove fall into Barton's assurance. The previous Cloud is killed by her future self. She endeavors to take the Boundlessness Stones from Barton, while Rogers, Thor, and Unmistakable face Thanos, who concludes he will rather utilize the Endlessness Stones to annihilate the universe and make one in his vision. The 3 battle Thanos one-on-one, with Rogers affirming Thor's hypothesis that he truly deserve employing Mjolnir, however, are each outmaneuvered by Thanos. Not long after Thanos' military grounds on the planet, T'Challa shows up before Rogers, alongside the Justice Fighters in general, prior to sending off an attack on Thanos and his military. Different partners restored by Pennant. After an extensive fight during which Distinct is brought together with Parker and Plume is brought together with past Gamora, Thanos grapples with various Vindicators for the Vastness Stones. At the point when he's limited by Wanda Maximoff's energy, Thanos orders Glaive to have his boat fire numerous energy impacts, almost annihilating the Vindicator's endeavors. Chief Wonder returns, taking out Thanos' boat while battling for control of the glove. Utilizing the nanotech from the new glove, Obvious moves the Limitlessness Stones from Thanos' hand to his own and utilizes them to transform Thanos and his whole armed force into debris, victoriously expressing, "I'm Iron Man." Parker and Potts console Distinct as he bites the dust from openness to the stone's radiation. Following the fight, Vindicators hold a memorial service for Unmistakable, whose imprint-1 circular segment reactor is drifted out on the lake close to his home. Barton and Wanda Maximoff take comfort in the way that Romanoff and Vision didn't return in the snap, be pleased with their triumph over Thanos. Thor makes Valkyrie the sovereign of Asgard, joins the gatekeepers of the system to track down his actual reason, liberated from the weight of eminence and administration without precedent for his life. Barton gets back to his family, and Parker gets back to school, where he is brought together with his closest companion, Ned. In the meantime, Rogers is entrusted to go into the past to return the stones and Thor's sledge to their unique courses of events, yet chooses not to get back to the present and to rather carry on with the remainder of his life in the past with Carter. He returns before Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes as an elderly person, passes his safeguard, the mantle of Commander America, on to Wilson. Concise flashback shows Rogers and Carter in a conventional-looking house, at long last sharing the dance they never got to have in their parlor. Really blissful, finally.